Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Hey Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari O Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Hey Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Radha Kalachandji Radha Kalachandji Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radhe Radhe Hey Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Shri Radhe Hey Radhe Radhe Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Shri Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe 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 Govinda, Shri Radhe. Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe 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 Govinda, Shri Radhe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Do we have a mic for the readers? Because we're reading from the 8th canto, chapter 13, the whole chapter, 1 through 36. Is that right? I can start.
Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami says, the present Manu, who is named Shraddhadeva, is the son of Vivaswan, the predominating deity on the sun planet. Shraddhadev is the 7th Manu. Now please hear from me as I describe his sons.
O King Pariksit, among the 10 sons of Manu are Ikshvaku, Nabhaga, Drista, Saryata, Narashanta, and Nabhaga. The 7th son is known as Dista. Then come Tarusha and Prashadra, and the 10th son is known as Vasuman.
In this Manamantra, O King, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Rudras, the Vishwadevas, the Maruts, the 2 Ashwini Kumara brothers, and the Rubus are the demigods. Their head king is Indra Purandara.
Kashyapa, Atri, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Jamadagni and Bharadwaja are known as the 7 sages.
In this Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared as the youngest of all the Adityas, known as Vaman, the dwarf. His father was Kashyap and his mother was Aditi.
I have briefly explained to you the position of the 7 Manus. Now I should describe to you the future Manus, along with the incarnations of Lord Vishnu.
O King, I previously described in the 6th canto the 2 daughters of Vishvakarma, named Samnya and Chaya, who were the first 2 wives of Vivaswan.
It is said that the sun god had a 3rd wife named Vadava. Of the 3 wives, the wife named Samjan had 3 children, Yama, Yami, and Shorahadeva. Now let me describe the children of Chaya.
Text 10. Chaya had a son named Savarni and a daughter named Tapati, who later became the wife of King Samvarana. Chaya's third child is known as Shanishchara Saturn. Vadava gave birth to 2 sons, namely the Ashwini brothers.
O king, when the period of the 8th Manu arrives, Shavarni will become the Manu, Nirmukha and Vira Jaksha will become his sons.
In the period of the 8th Manu, among the demigods will be the Sutapas, the Virajas, and the Amrita Prabhas. The king of the demigods, Indra, will be Bali Maharaj, the son of Virochan.
Bali Maharaj gave a gift of 3 pieces of land of Lord Vishnu, and because of this charity he lost all the 3 worlds. Later, however, when Lord Vishnu is pleased because of Bali's giving everything to him, Bali Maharaj will achieve the perfection of life.
With great affection, the personality of Godhead bound Bali and then installed him in the kingdom of Sutala, which is more opulent than the heavenly planets. Maharaj Bali now resides on that planet and is more comfortably situated than Indra.
King, during the 8th Mahavata, the great personalities Galvad and Jupiter and Prasuta and Asvista, and our father Vaishwada, the incarnation of Narayana, will be the 7 sages for the present. They are all residing their representative ashras.
In the 8th Manvantara, the greatly powerful personality of Godhead, Sarvabhauma, would take birth. His father will be Deva Guvya and his mother will be Saraswati. He would take the kingdom away from Purandara, Lord Indra, and give it to Bali Maharaj.
In the 8th Manvantara, the greatly powerful O king, the 9th Manu will be Daksha Savarni, who is born of Varuna. Among his sons will be Bhutaketu and Deeptaketu.
In this 9th Manvantara, the Paras and Marichigarbhas will be among the demigods. The king of heaven, Indra, will be named Adbhuta, and Dyutiman will be among the 7 sages.
Rishabhadev, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will take birth from his father, Ayushman, and his mother, Ambudhara. He will enable the Indra named Adbhuta to enjoy the opulence of the 3 worlds.
The son of Upashloka, known as Brahma Savarni, will be the 10th Manu. Bhurisena will be among his sons, and the Brahmanas headed by Havisman will be the 7 sages.
Havisman, Sukta, Satya, Jaya, Murti, and others will be the 7 sages. The Suvanas and Virudas will be among the demigods, and Shambhu will be their king, Indra.
In the home of Vishvashrata, a plenary portion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear from the womb of Vishuchi as the incarnation known as Vishvakshena. He will make friends with Shambhu.
In the 11th Manvantara, the Manu will be Dharmasavarni, who will be extremely learned in spiritual knowledge. From him there will come 10 sons headed by Satyadharman.
The Vihangamas, Kamangamas, Nirvana Ruchis, and others will be the demigods. The king of the demigods, Indra, will be the Vaidharta, and the 7 sages will be headed by Aruna.
The son of Aryaka, known as Dharma Setu, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will appear from the womb of Vajritya, the wife of Aryaka, and will rule the 3 worlds.
Okay, the 12th Manu will be named Rudra Sarvani. Devavan, Upadeva, and Deva Shrestha will be among his sons.
In this Manvantara, the name of Indra will be Ritadam, and the demigods will be headed by the Haritas. Among the sages will be Tapomurti, Tapasvi, and Agni Draka.
Next 29. From the mother named Sunrata and the father named Satyasaha will come Swadhama, a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will rule that Manvantara.
In the 13th Mano will be named Deva Sarvani, and he will be very advanced in spiritual knowledge. Among his sons will be Trichasena and Vichitra.
In the 13th Manvantara, the Sukarmas and Sutramas will be among the demigods. Devaspati will be the king of heaven, and Nirmoka and Tattvadarsha will be among the 7 sages.
The son of Devahotra, known as Yogeshwara, will appear as a partial incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. His mother's name will be Briharti. He will perform activities for the welfare of Devaspati.
The name of the 14th Manu will be Indra Savarni. He will have sons like Udu, Gambhira, and Buddha.
The Pavitras and Sakras will be among the demigods, and Susi and will be the Indra idling of the heaven, Agni, Bahu, and Susi and Sudam, Magnoda, and other of the great assist will be the 7 sages.
O King Parishik, in the 40th Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead will appear from the womb of Vitara, and his father's name will be Satrayana. This incarnation will be celebrated as Brihat Banu, and he will administer spiritual activity.
O King, I have now described to you the 14 Manus appearing in the past, present, and future. The total duration of time ruled by these Manus is 1000 yuga cycles. This is called a kalpa, or 1 day of Lord Brahma.
Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 13th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Description of Future Manus. Now we'll go to the verse. Ashtame 11. Ashtame nattara atye Savarnir bhavita manu Nirmoka vidajash kadya Savarni tanaya nripa Ashtame nantara ayate Savarnir bhavita manu Nirmoka vidajash kadya Savarnitanaya Nripa. Please chant. Nirmokavirajaskadhyaha Savarni Tanayanrupa. So we'll just read the verse and purport because it's already 8:16. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Sri Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. O King, when the period of the 8th Manu arrives, Savarni will become the Manu. Nirmoka and Virajashka will be among his sons. Purport. The present reign is that of, who knows? Oh, okay. Is there? Vaivashvata Manu. According to astronomical calculations, we are now in the 28th Yuga of Vaivashvata Manu. Each Manu lives for 71 yugas, and 14 such Manus rule in one day of Lord Brahma. We are now in the period of Vaivashvata Manu, the 7th Manu, and the 8th Manu will come into existence after many millions of years. But Shukadeva Goswami, having heard from authorities, foretells that the 8th Manu will be Savarni, and that Nirmoka and Virajashka will be among his sons. Shastra can foretell what will happen millions and millions of years in the future. We'll just do a short Mangalacharna, we'll do the Om. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So, without looking at the screen, and from the younger group in the temple, how many Manus are there in the day of Brahma? From the kids? Okay, bigger kids? 14 Manus. Which Manu are we in right now? The 7th, and it's the, what is it? The 20, what is it? 28th Yuga cycle. So, okay, just to get a little, we're going to have like a science class on the timings of the universe, and since that's what the whole verse and purport was about. So, as we know, according to the Vedas, spiritual knowledge is revealed by those that have realization, right? That those who Krishna gives his inspiration and wisdom to, that's what parampara is, just like we are in the Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya. And how was Lord Brahma enlightened at the beginning of creation? First of all, according to the Shastras, he was born from a lotus flower that emanated from the navel of a humongous, spiritually humongous form of Vishnu that's lying in the causal ocean? No. Huh? Oh, okay. So let me go, but before that, Mahavishnu lies on the causal ocean. So, so before that, Mahavishnu, who is one of the first quadruple expansions of the Lord, lies in the causal ocean and is resting on Anantashesh. Is that right? Okay. And as he exhales, just like now, let's all take a deep breath, like they do in yoga classes, as much as you can, and exhale. Okay, what happened? Maybe some germs came out, right? Or some bad breath. But when Mahavishnu exhales, according to the Shastra, unlimited universes emanate from his pores. And then in each universe, an expansion of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, that universe is like an egg, a Brahmanda, that has space, but that space is covered by a layer of earth, which is 10 times greater than the breadth and width of the universe itself. And then there's 7 layers, right? And each layer is 10 times greater than the previous one. But within each universe, an expansion of Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshai Vishnu, lies down in the, what do you call that ocean? The Garbhodak? Garbhodak. And what does that mean? Garbha? The womb? So he lies down, Garbhodakshai Vishnu lies down in that universe, which is half filled or so with water. Is that true? His own perspiration. And then from his navel sprouts a lotus flower, which Lord Brahma is born. And when Lord Brahma tries to find out the source of his existence, he looks and sees, he goes within the stem and tries to find the purpose of his existence and the source of his existence, but to no avail. For a long, long time of Lord Brahma's time, he tries to find what is going on, and he hears in a voice or a sound from this space, ta-pa, right? That means he gets inspiration, and it's said in other places that Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikevaye, that Lord Brahma becomes inspired on what to do by the sound of Krishna's flute that emanates from Krishna into his heart. So then from there, another expansion of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu is Kshirodakshai Vishnu, who expands into the heart of every living entity and into the atom, into every single atom, and in between every atom. Now, it's said that every living entity has a lifespan of 100 years, but according to their circumstance, it's a different 100 years. Like our 100 years, let's say Lord Brahma, according to the Shastra, kids first, what is the calculation of Lord Brahma's 100 years according to earth years? Anybody remember? Kids first. Yeah, 311 trillion, 40 billion years is Lord Brahma's 100 years. And there's 14 Manus that are in every day of Lord Brahma. And they exist for 71 cycles of Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga, which are millions of years. But all of this happens in, like I was saying, in one breath of Mahavishnu. So it's pretty fantastic, pretty awesome. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of all things. Right? So, in one sense, in Mahavishnu's time, it's called a nimesh, not even a second of time. All of this cosmic creation is created and then annihilated. Just a second. So sometimes when we're going through our life, do you think you're old? I think I'm old. I'm 50 years old. I think Brahma's mid-aged right now, according to the Shastras, right? He's halfway through his 100 years. That's what they say. So it's all just perspective, just like one devotee, Prahladananda Swami, one devotee was glorifying, wow, you joined in 1960, whatever it was. You're like so experienced and so wise. And Maharaj just looked at him with like full realization. Yeah, but in the speck of eternity, I haven't even started, or I forgot how exactly he said it. It's nothing. So when I was asked to give class and I looked at this chapter and this verse, normally, as you know, I like to go straight to like Krishna's form, Krishna's beauty, Krishna's qualities, but this had a different aspect. So I was like, wow, let me look into it. I had forgotten, how long does Lord Brahma live? How many Manus? Such detailed knowledge, just like there's one chapter in the 3rd canto called Calculation of Time from the Atom, right? So it gives detailed scientific knowledge of what an atom is. And basically, what is time? Time is the movement of objects in space. That's a one way of calculating it. So that's why it's saying calculation of time from the atom. So it goes down to the minutest calculation of time. It's explained just like when you may see you see particles of sun rays or coming through a screen, and then you can see that by the movement of the earth, the movement of the sun, you can see movement of shadows and whatnot. Everything has a time calculation, just like it's explained that karmically, all of our breaths are calculated from the moment we're born. That's why the yogis, they slow down their breathing, right? They learn pranayama to slow down so that they can have a longer or a chance at getting out of the bondage of the material energy in the material world. So then it goes on in that chapter to talk about the calculation of time of the universe also. So I'll just read maybe 2 verses because it's already class time is winding up. Yeah. Okay. I'll just read a few verses from this chapter. After the end of Brahma's night, the creation of the 3 worlds begins again in the daytime of Brahma, and they continue to exist through the life durations of 14 consecutive Manus, or fathers of mankind. Each and every Manu enjoys a life of a little more than 71 sets of 4 millenniums. And then the purport gives a little breakdown. The duration of life of a Manu comprises 71 sets of 4 millenniums, as described in the Vishnu Purana. The duration of life of one Manu is about 852,000 years in the calculation of the demigods, or in the calculation of human beings, 306,720,000 years. So I guess that puts a different perspective on that verse by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Instruction, that we should be enthusiastic. Confident and patient. This puts a different perspective on what patience is. Just like one thing comes to mind. There was this devotee I think his name was Mukunda, in Lord Chaitanya's Leela. And Lord Chaitanya, at this time, he went on the altar and manifest everybody's Ishtadev, or everybody's worshipful Lord, and was calling all the devotees to reciprocate and give benedictions and have darshan, face to face with that exact worshipful deity. And the devotees saw that Mukunda, that Lord Chaitanya wasn't calling, was it Mukunda? Anybody? The devotees, that Lord Chaitanya wasn't calling Mukunda. And they asked Lord Chaitanya, why aren't you calling Mukunda? And Mukunda, the Lord Chaitanya said that, oh, because he associates with us and dances and chants, but then he also associates with the Mayavadis, the impersonalists, and, you know, agrees with them in a sense. So I don't want to see his face. And then the devotee said, will you ever give your darshan to Mukunda? And then Lord Chaitanya said, after millions and millions of years. And they went and told Mukunda, and Mukunda started dancing in ecstasy and saying, I will see, I will see. And he was so elated and enthusiastic that he's going to see that the Lord agreed to give him darshan after millions and millions of years. So then Lord Chaitanya, seeing his reaction, said to the devotees, call him here, you know. And he was just so elated and so excited that he's going to see the Lord after millions and millions of birth, that even they were calling him, the Lord wants to see you now, that he couldn't hear them because he was so absorbed in his expectation of seeing him in millions of years. Okay, so let me just read a few more verses here. Bali Maharaj, wrong book. In each and every change, okay. Okay, after the dissolution of each and every Manu, the next Manu comes in order, along with his descendants who rule over the different planets. But the 7 famous sages and demigods like Indra and their followers, such as the Gandharvas, all appear simultaneously with Manu. In the creation during Brahma's day, I read that already, sorry. Okay, anyways. So, yeah, sometimes when you're trying to figure out life, if you get a glimpse from a distance, right? Sometimes you microscope it, and then sometimes you zoom out and you see, okay, what's the bigger picture? Sometimes you can have a different perspective. So this is what this verse did to me. Sometimes I come in the temple and I take Krishna for granted. Oh, he's always here. Oh, he's sweet. But when I read this, I was like, wow. When the omnipotence and the power and the unlimited expansions of Vishnu that come from his partial expansions, I was like, I had a whole different experience of chanting japa before Kalachanji. So this is what we've been given by the Vedas, give us such detailed knowledge, more than we can fathom, right? Just like I was like, okay, let me figure this out. Let me figure out the days of Brahma, the Manus, the incarnations, and let me go from this book. I had books like, this Prabhupada said in one purport, he would give a verse, and I was like, let me look up that. And then I get that book, and then in that verse and purport, it had another verse and purport. So I said, let me get that book. I had like 6 books around. I was like, wow. It was getting very, very exciting. But then at the end of it, I was like, yeah, I still can't figure it out. Because it's like, yeah, what are we going to do with our tiny brains in connection with Krishna's unlimited potencies? But it's exciting. It's explained just like a bird may fly into the sky according to its abilities, right? The sky to the bird is unlimited. So according to the abilities of each one of us, we become attracted to the unlimited varieties of potencies and opulences of the Lord. And they're unfathomable, they're unlimited. There will never be an end. Just like there's that one verse that says, there may come a time when scientists can count every grain of sand in the universe, or every molecular particle, but they'll never be able to come close to the unlimited qualities of the Lord. So Krishna is unlimited. His love for us is unlimited. And by His sweet will, He's given us the Bhagavatam to dive into according to our personal capacity, and devotional Sangha is to increase the enthusiasm for wanting to know and love Krishna. So I'll stop there if there's any reflections or questions. Yeah, the mic is there. You can.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for this mind-blowing class. So we have a friend who is, we call him the stargazer, and he has this amazing kind of telescopes that are very powerful, and so sometimes he comes to visit and shows that in this area, this is one, behind this area is one whole other universe. And you know, they're quite amazing what he does. And I remember telling him, well, this is just a speck of his splendor. I explained to him, this is just an insignificant speck, because you're just seeing a one little window into, and then you know, I explained to him about the material creation.
You didn't get nerdy and say, well, technically it's not another universe.
Exactly.
Because our universe is covered by 7 layers.
Right. And they have this telescope. What is that telescope called? That, Ross, what is that telescope called? That mega telescope now that they've been... Right. That is supposedly showing so many other universes and so forth. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I think all these, just like in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna asks Krishna, can you tell me how we can think of you and how we can remember you? Then Krishna goes through different ways that we can think of him and remember him in connection with the wonders of his energies. But ultimately, yeah, if we don't have the inclination to be devotional, then it's just curiosity. Right? You can see the different wonders of the universe, but if you don't have the free will, the inclination from your soul to want to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then you're just going to be wowed. There's many atheistic people that are wowed by the majesty of universal energetic affairs. But because of causeless rebelliousness, they don't turn to Krishna. Whereas a simple child or a simple soul of any age who sees the connection that, okay, these energies, everything wonderful comes from a conscious person, just a spark of his splendor. Others? Dharma, you wanted to say something?
I heard, first, thank you for the wonderful class. You've made an esoteric subject really, really interesting and brought out really nice points. Thank you. Thank you. Our sun god, okay, this is No, I'm thinking my question's not that good. Our sun god is partial incarnation of Lord Vishnu, right?
Our what?
The sun god, the current sun god we have.
Sun god, yeah.
Sun god.
Vivishwan, yeah.
So does it happen that sometimes, and I heard that happens when someone's not like qualified to be the sun god or to be a certain demigod, Vishnu will have to be like Indra or a partial incarnation of Vishnu.
Yeah, I remember reading that also. Like sometimes, yeah, that the Lord Brahma of every universe is the most pious person. But sometimes if there's nobody qualified, then yeah, Krishna will become. And just like we see, like with each new Manu, he comes with his whole crew, right? He comes with the new Indra, the 7 sages. I don't know what their managerial services are, but the each, yeah, as we see, there's descriptions of the future Manus, and it gives the future Saptarishi, the 7 sages, and the new Indra. So yeah, and then we see that, and with each set, they're all partial incarnations, most of them. Even the Manus, right? The Manus are.
That's what got me to thinking about that.
Yeah, so yeah, basically, it's like what you brought to mind was like the churning of the milk ocean. Like they couldn't do it at all, so then Krishna had to appear as the tortoise, and Krishna had to infuse them with the proper energies on each side. Then he had to. He if you read it, he appeared on the tortoise as another incarnation. He like had to do the whole, it's like when it says you're not the doer, it's really exemplified in that pastime. Krishna was like, okay, come on, I got to do it. Okay, the demigods weren't doing good, the demons weren't good. Okay, let me infuse them with the proper energy. Let me incarnate. There's like 4 or 5 different personal incarnations of the Lord to get the Leela going. So yeah, Krishna's incarnating in all these persons and giving them Shaktavesh avatar means that they're empowered incarnations, so that Krishna gives the energy to do. So we're anything, even anything that we do. It was like one time I heard, how can a limited, like, oh yeah, another thing I wanted to bring up was the size of the soul, right? They say it's 1/10,000th the tip of a hair. That's pretty tiny, right? But that living entity can conquer and overwhelm the person who Mahavishnu is just a partial, or is just an expansion of. How? I heard it said by Radhanath Swami that because that devotion is the Chladini Shakti, that devotion itself is the energy of Srimati Radharani. So even though we may be unlimitedly small, that doesn't make sense, or whatever, that potency of devotion is unlimitedly empowered by the pleasure potency of Radharani. You want to say something? I thought I saw your hand. No? Okay. Yes. What's your name again, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. I didn't attend the full class, actually missed it, but if you have already covered this. So it says that the Shastras can foretell millions of years in the future. So somebody may say that, everything is fixed. So how do we give the argument for that?
Why do you need an argument for it? It's true. Yeah. Well, sometimes it's explained that, how can you put free will in the mix when, it says the Manus are already fixed or so. But it's explained that karmically speaking, somebody may have bought a ticket to fly to New York, and that they're already on the plane. So they're going to land in New York, that's fixed. But they were going to go to I don't know, a Trump rally. I don't know. I shouldn't have made that example. But then on the plane, they sit next to you, and you say, "Actually, I'm going to the Rath Yatra. It's going down Fifth Avenue." And the person says, "Yeah, you know what? I'll go with you." So they can change the circumstance, although they may. Sometimes it's explained like you have a certain car, you may have a Tesla. Your body, the example is your body is already set because of your previous karmic psychophysical disposition. But while you're in the car, you can turn left, turn right, you can choose what to do to a certain degree. So spiritual life is how to maximize that opportunity to make, the right choice.
Sorry to interject. I heard a good example of Srila Prabhupada's preaching. One thing you can say to the person is say, well, do you know what's going to happen in millions and millions of years? Do you have information here, specific, and is it from a bona fide source? If they say no, say, well, then you should accept this, because this is information, and you don't know anything about it, right? So why not accept it? Prabhupada said that in context of someone was asking about God. It was like in France, and it was a real heavy crowd, and there were intellectuals and communists, and there were agitators, and they weren't listening very nicely to Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada gave a very short lecture, and somebody was complaining, God this, I'm God, you're again. Prabhupada said, they asked, how do we know? How do you know God? So, well, if I tell you, will you believe me? And he said no, so, I'm not going to tell you, But he said that we have specific, detailed information about God. Can you tell me about God? He said, what is your belief? Christian or whatever it was, Muslim. Can you tell me about God? And he said, well, not really. He said, well, then I'm telling you this, we know this, so why don't you at least look at it, accept it? Because we have knowledge of who God is. You've admitted you don't know anything. And I'm telling you I know something. Why don't you at least accept, accept that it could be true, right? Of course, it takes time, but I don't know if that really applied, but
yeah, I think so. Yeah, Prabhupada was super empowered how to respond. He would respond differently at different times to different people. Sometimes, I remember one thing comes to mind, an interviewer was asking, so how many followers do you have? And Prabhupada just looked at him and said, why don't you become? Well, why worry about other people? Why don't you, if there's something good, you take it up, So like Prabhupada may turn, or somebody asks something, and Prabhupada, what also comes to mind was like, what does that have to do with you? Like, what is this? The answer to that question may have nothing to do with you, your life. So he would turn it around on the person, to Prabhupada Priya.
Hare Krishna, just a comment. Yeah, just reflecting on this last thing about Shastra foretelling what happens millions and millions of years in the future. It's nice because it shows us that, Krishna's got a plan. It's all under control. He knows what's going to happen. Because sometimes we become afraid because, fear of the unknown, and, we see environmental disasters and wars, and sometimes people and even devotees get word that the world's going to end, and, all this stuff. But it's like, we know from Shastra that it's not going to end. We've got another 427,000 years of this Kali Yuga, and, life goes on. It's going to get bad, and that's all described, but it's going to get good first.